Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago Fire's burning future has been decided. In the past couple of weeks, fans of the One Chicago slate of series got a little apprehensive. As all major networks started to announce their renewal/cancellation plans for their flagship series, NBC only selected Street Dennis Medical and Happy's Place to come back and stayed mum on every other show. But finally, the fate of Chicago Fire has been decided. According to Deadline, the show is coming back for season 14, with Chicago PD and Chicago Med also getting renewed. Despite the uncertainty, we can't ignore that Chicago Fire has more than established a legacy for itself on network television. The show debuted before streaming platforms became the huge monster that they are today, and yet it managed to retain and increase its audience for all these years. More than that, the show is a constant top performer on Wednesday nights, and its success prompted the creation of its two equally popular spin-offs, Chicago PD and Chicago Med. The delay in the Chicago Fire announcement has been attributed to NBC having to figure out where to fit the next season of NBA matches, which will be hosted at the network. Also, according to Deadline, the Chicago One series production team faced tough conversations because the network was once again worried about the budget of the three combined series, which possibly becomes more elevated when crossover events take place. The new announcement from Deadline also confirms that the budget for all three One Chicago shows have been evaluated and trimmed as needed. Currently on a short hiatus, Chicago Fire still has some episodes to roll out before season 13 wraps. The story is burning up with Chief Wallace Bowden, Eamon Walker, recently returning after being away for almost 2 seasons. As for the future of the series, newcomer Dermot Mulroney, Anyone But You, who plays new Chief Dom Pascal, talked about his hopes for the character in the long term. The actor admitted that due to the character's unique story arc and position, it has taken a little long to let him sink in, but that he hopes that Pascal deals with the death of his wife and comes out the other side. Despite the renewal, change is coming to Chicago Fire, as longtime cast members Daniel Keary, who plays Ritter, and Jake Lockett, Carver, won't return for the new season, as part of the budget trims that Deadline reported. Other cast members' contracts, including Taylor Kinney, are also up for renegotiation, which could translate into new abrupt exits from the series. After 13 unforgettable seasons, hundreds of harrowing calls, and more than a few emotional goodbyes, the future of Chicago Fire has finally been decided. And it's a decision that will leave fans breathless, just like a 5-alarm blaze tearing through the Windy City. NBC announced late Sunday evening that Chicago Fire will return for a 14th and final season, a supersized farewell that promises to honor every smoky stairwell climb, every Squad 3 rescue, and every last-second save pulled off by Firehouse 51. But this won't just be a goodbye. It will be a reckoning for the characters who have lived, loved, lost, and risked it all for the city they've sworn to protect. Executive producer Dick Wolf, ever the architect of heart-pounding procedural storytelling, released a statement that read like a love letter to the fans. Chicago Fire has been more than a television show. It's been a family. Not just the one on screen, but the one behind the cameras, and most importantly, the millions of loyal viewers who kept tuning in year after year. We're ending this story with the heat it deserves. But make no mistake, this final season won't quietly fizzle out. It's going to burn. Station 51, The Final Watch. The final season, insiders say, will feature a bold, serialized arc that brings back fan favorites and confronts every character with a question. What does legacy mean when the sirens fade? Kelly Severide, long the lone wolf and firehouse legend, is rumored to be facing his most personal battle yet, one that has nothing to do with fire and everything to do with fatherhood. The once invincible lieutenant may have finally met his match in his own son. Taylor Kinney, whose on-again, off-again presence has kept fans guessing, is said to be all in for the final run. His return will ignite long-dormant tensions, especially with Stella Kidd, whose career may be rocketing to new heights, just as Severide contemplates stepping away from the fireline. Stella, now a powerful female leader in the CFD, will be tested in ways no command training could prepare her for. Her relationship with Severide will hang in the balance, and her loyalty to the firehouse will be challenged by an offer that could change the face of firefighting in Chicago. Our anchor will find himself at a crossroads of legacy and grief. After seasons of carrying the emotional torch for the fallen Otis, Joe is said to be presented with a chance to leave the city behind for a fire academy directorship in Colorado. But how do you leave behind the place that made you who you are? And what of his little family, the promise of stability he once never thought possible? Bowden, the eternal chief, will be facing his own inferno, a citywide scandal that threatens to consume the department's leadership. Rumors swirl that Eamon Walker will take his final bow in an episode that's being described by insiders as Shakespearean in tragedy, but redemptive in soul. Bowden's final act may be one of ultimate sacrifice, not in fire, but in politics. And then there's Gallo, Ritter, and Violet, the next generation. Season 14 is expected to shift the spotlight toward them in a major way, asking whether they have what it takes to carry Firehouse 51 into the future. Violet's grief over Chief Hawkins still lingers, but whispers suggest she may find unexpected closure in a ghost from the past. Gallo, ever impulsive, is sent to face a rescue gone wrong that forces him to grow up fast, or walk away forever. A city that still burns. Chicago itself will be more of a character than ever before. The final season will lean heavily into real-world issues: firefighter shortages, climate-driven megafires, and growing public scrutiny over department decisions. It's not just about running into burning buildings anymore. It's about the emotional labor, the PTSD, and the aftermath no one sees. The writers are reportedly pulling no punches. "We want to show what happens after the call," said co-showrunner Andrea Newman. What happens to the people who go back to the firehouse, and more importantly, what happens when they can't? Expect a sweeping, serialized narrative with crossover threads from Chicago Med and Chicago PD, culminating in a 3-hour finale event that unites all 3 shows for one last shared mission. The final call, sources say, will be the most visually and emotionally explosive hour in one Chicago history. Beyond the ashes. But there's one ember still glowing. Talks of a Chicago Fire spin-off. According to insiders, NBC is in early development for a series tentatively titled Firehouse Legacy, which would follow a new generation of firefighters, mentored by Cruz, Violet, and Gallo, as they establish a new outpost on the city's south side. While still unconfirmed, the move would mirror what Law and Order accomplished with SVU, allowing the universe to evolve while honoring the past. Even if Firehouse Legacy doesn't spark into life, the legacy of Chicago Fire is cemented. It brought the sweat and grime of firefighting to prime time. It made heroes of ordinary people. It reminded us that family isn't just who you're born with, it's who you'd run into a burning building for. The final alarm. As the opening bars of My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark play for one last time in the series finale, there won't be a dry eye in the house. Not because we're saying goodbye, but because we've all been changed by the ride.